In this episode, we're going to talk about OCD and parenting. What a huge stressor parenting can be. Be that the birth of a child, the adoption of a child, the fostering of a child, or an adolescent, or an adult even, where they come into your home, you feel responsible for that person. And OCD very much can grab onto that responsibility and lead you to feel as if you don't do it just right, you will do everything just wrong. It could go from, am I feeding them right? Am I holding them right? Am I allowing them to sleep in the right way? Should I go check on them? Should I make sure they're okay? To when they get older, what if they're driving? Who do I know that they're with? And how do I know that they're at the place that they tell me they are? And what will their life be afterwards? And what will their career be? And will they have enough money and be able to function and live in the life the way that I hope that they will? And OCD will say to you, well, there are ways to help assure that to happen. Have lots of obsessions about those things and do all sorts of compulsions. And as long as you do those things, then your child will be okay. What a lie OCD tells us. OCD cannot be in control of anything outside of us whatsoever. Whether or not I do a compulsion about, say, the ceiling falling on me, if I think about it, isn't going to be the thing that leads it to falling or not falling. In fact, I will try it real quick. Please fall on me, ceiling. I'm not doing a compulsion. Didn't happen. But what does OCD do? OCD triggers an emotion within you, that fight, flight, or freeze response. And when that's been triggered in our lives up until today, what have we learned? It makes sense. It's a good thing. It's kept us safe. So OCD knows this, and OCD triggers this. And why wouldn't you do whatever you could to keep yourself safe? Because all along in your life, you've done that and it's worked out. And this is where OCD lies to us and tricks us, and it gets us to do this because OCD knows that when we do this, we are going to feed it with a compulsion. And since OCD is kind of a jerk of a disorder, it's going to take advantage of somebody that we are responsible for, somebody we care for. Again, a child or someone who's come into our home that we are going to be responsible for. And OCD will say to us, there's so many things that you need to do for this child or this person to be safe. And if you don't and something happens to them, it will be your fault. You will be the reason why they have had harm. And think of the guilt then that OCD puts on people, the shame that it creates in folks if they don't do a compulsion. That's sometimes one reason people do a compulsion, just to rid themselves of the shame and the guilt that OCD brings about their lives. Well, we want to teach people that there's another way to go about this. You don't have to do what OCD wants you to do. You can actually let that shame and guilt and doubt and discomfort and anxiety be there and hopefully just kind of trail off on its own. And even if it doesn't, you can still teach people to do things differently than they've been doing. In fact, we have a term for that. We call that response prevention. The goal is to teach people to do the opposite of the compulsion, to have a new response every time they experience an obsession. So if there's an obsession about a person you're responsible for, if there's an obsession about a child and OCD says, you must do this in order for things to be okay, well, we want you to do the opposite of that or something different than that. We know that if you do what OCD wants you to do, it only gets stronger. Even though there may be a lie told to you, which is, believe me, once you do this, everything will feel great and all will be okay. That's just simply not true. Otherwise, my job would be to give OCD to people instead of help take it away. And I am not about to start giving people OCD. Your relationship with your child could have been so much better, potentially, if you didn't. I didn't like that. Say that again. Your relationship with your child will not be improved because of obsessive compulsive disorder. It will only be interfered with because of obsessive compulsive disorder. If you want to have a loving, trusting, wonderful relationship with your child or people that you are responsible for, OCD is not the way to go about doing it. Instead, it will be doing the opposite of what OCD wants. And when you do the opposite of what OCD wants, and you allow yourself to learn that you can handle all sorts of discomfort and doubt and uncertainty that you never thought that you could, that you never gave yourself credit for, you will start to have better relationships with the people in your lives, not worse ones and not more anxiety-provoking ones. My hope for you is that this makes sense, that OCD isn't out for the best interest of your friends or your family or those you are responsible for or your children. OCD is only out for itself. It only wants what it wants. It doesn't care about what you want whatsoever. It doesn't even care actually about the welfare of your children. It just uses them to get you to do compulsions. I couldn't be more clear than that, and I hope that that makes sense, and I hope that that's motivating for you to decide today is the day to do something different. And if you're looking for help with that, we have that available here at NOCD. Check us out at NOCD.com and have a free 15-minute call with one of our members of our care team, where they can help place you with a therapist who has specialty training in the treatment of obsessive-compulsive disorder. My goal for you: have a wonderful relationship with your friends, with your families, with your children, with those you are responsible for, and do it in such a way that it isn't influenced by OCD, and OCD is just in the back seat. It's not driving anymore. All the best.